They have the case. They have the case.
It's been a year since we detailed evidence the benefits for a dead Harris County paramedic may have been stolen, swiped by a guy claiming to be the gay spouse of the paramedic, even though the benefits were supposed to go to Gordon Baker's son. What's worse, there's plenty of evidence that Harris County ESD 48, the taxpayer-funded agency that handles fire service out in Katy, helped the guy pull it off.
I'm trying to pull myself together because it's very hard for me to come up here and speak, but I'm hurt. I just thought that this department was gonna be there for my dad.
Listen to this phone call between the family and the sheriff's department investigator who was looking into possible criminal activity after the death of Gordon Baker Sr.
You and I both know there's definitely some corruption going on, but I want to know what they think.
Quite frankly, the handling of this entire case by Harris County is beyond absurd. The sheriff's department says the DA rejected criminal charges, but the DA now tells us they never saw the case.
No, that's not in my database at all.
Now that the DA is willing to look at the case after our involvement, the family is being told to resubmit all the evidence because the case appears to be lost somewhere in the sheriff's department. But the family says this is a cover-up, not just incompetence. What in the world is going on here?
I have been crushed for the past 3 years trying to deal with this.
Gordon Brent Baker Jr.'s father was an honored paramedic with ESD 48 in Katy. He was on the front lines during the COVID-19 pandemic. It cost him his life. Harris County put on a great show of respect, all while turning their back on his only son. A funeral home director had to be the one to warn Brent and his wife Amanda that the folks at ESD 48 were probably up to no good.
She's the one that told my husband, listen, something's going on. She said, because they're trying to put this guy like he's the next of kin when legally you are. She said, I see all the documentation.
That guy is this man, Robert Spears. At one time, Spears and Gordon Sr. did have a relationship, but that was back in the 90s.
It's painful. I can't imagine somebody thinking that they can go and change beneficiary information to somebody who is a nobody just because of who they thought he was.
Spears didn't need evidence because inside ESD 48, he found some like-minded folks. The family says they had a bias in favor of same-sex marriage. Before Gordon's death, the ESD promoted a GoFundMe page set up to help him, making Spears the beneficiary. Spears has refused to let us see how much of that money was even spent. The family, they had to actually pay for the funeral. Another ESD employee was even caught on camera trying to stop Gordon's son and daughter-in-law from even going into his house after he died.
This is my house.
It's not your house.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
All right, I'm not going to have a back and forth.
While the family was being pushed away, the ESD was apparently providing Spears benefit information. 3 months after Gordon's death, Spears' lawyer notified the ESD that he was going to claim he was the surviving spouse, with no evidence they had gotten married. The ESD lawyer knew better. There was no such documentation or designation in Gordon's file. But the family didn't even learn about that document until the Texas Attorney General had to order the ESD 48 to give us the document. They fought us for months. But the ESD lawyers still helped Spears, gave him detailed benefit information, even ways to contact the folks who were going to hand out the state and national benefits, retirement benefits, life insurance. How could they give away all that sensitive, confidential information to someone they knew was not listed as a beneficiary? Bank records show Spears drained Gordon's bank account of thousands of dollars while he lay dying, and the family says he then filed fraudulent disability claims while Gordon was on life support. Social media evidence shows Spears stole stuff from Gordon's house. Spears has since left the state.
No, I live in North Carolina now because of
everything that happened with the case that you were talking about.
There's just a bunch of shit, Robert, I need to talk to you about.
Yeah.
Spears told me he would do an interview, but then stood me up. That's never happened before. And there are still no charges filed against him or anyone else involved in the case.
Because every Harris County agency kept kind of sweeping things under the rug or just telling me, oh, nope, you just have to keep going back to the detective.
Amanda supplied evidence to Deputy William Lindsay. He has ignored our phone calls, but last September, Lindsay told the family he gave the case to an assistant DA named Elizabeth Hayes. We have the recording.
And these were exact words, let me look more into it. She said, I promise I'm going to look more into it, and if you don't mind, I'll keep the package.
Lindsay told Amanda he did all he could. The ball was now in Sean Tier's court.
And I don't want it to come back on me saying that I didn't do my due diligence.
Lindsay's words turned out to be an ominous warning of what was about to come. The investigative records show Lindsay had to keep checking in with the DA's office back in December, again in January. In March, the DA told Lindsay they saw no criminal activity. It was a civil matter. The case had been dropped.
I want to say I was shocked, but with this whole process that we've been going through, that very much felt like obstruction. I wasn't too surprised.
Amanda worried all along that Harris County wouldn't investigate anything that would make the ESD 48 folks look bad. So she did her own investigation to find out what happened, why the case was declined. There's even a form you can fill out to get that kind of information on the DA's website. The response she got? We have no records of this case being presented to this office for charges.
You have reached the Harris County District Attorney's Office.
Amanda followed up with a phone call.
Okay, so one of them is 2203-05890. And that was for like fraud, identity theft.
No, that's not in my database at all. It's not going to be in unless there's a charge.
Then what's the point of having a declined case review form in the first place?
You know, you call the DA's office and they pretend to be dumbfounded. They can't say that because I have a witness.
I've questioned the integrity of this investigation since day one.
It adds insult to injury to Brent and Amanda.
It was alarming, concerning, not only for myself, but for other people out there that are really putting like their trust in the system to do what, they're supposed to do.
It was time for Dolcefino Media to get back into action. We called the DA and Amanda, well, she doesn't give up. She reached out to the Attorney General for help. We've now learned that the district attorney's office will look again at this case, but the assistant DA claims Deputy Lindsay now doesn't even work in financial crimes anymore. She's now asking Amanda to supply her documentation all over again, claiming she doesn't even have the records. The new DA simply hasn't shown any evidence that he wants to fight the kind of public corruption that we're seeing in Harris County.
Oh, you are waking up to some big changes in Harris County. 1 minute after midnight, District Attorney-elect Sean Tier was sworn into office.
6 months into office, Sean Tier's memorable moments aren't really good ones. Being sworn in without a license to even practice law. Then dropping what we believe was a clear case of public corruption after a county official got indicted.
Today, charges have been dropped against the former head of the Harris County Public Health Department.
The Barbie Robinson case is a great example of the kind of alleged multi-million-dollar bid rigging scheme state lawmakers were talking about when they stiffened the penalties for public corruption this year. Something the DA said back then stuck with us. It was about the way new cases are handled.
Number one, it starts with intake. We are going to accept charges differently than has been done in the past. We're going to get the cases disposed of much quicker.
Tell that to Gordon Baker's family. They've waited years for justice. This didn't make us feel any better.
I think the biggest challenge looking forward is going to be around the World Cup and preparing for that. And
you can kick the ball down the street, so to speak, but here at Dolcefino Media, we're ready to fight public corruption if the DA won't. This family was wrong. It's clear the folks at ESD 48 simply didn't care, even when Gordon's grandson pled for help more than a year ago.
I'm upset that I didn't get to live through 3 years of my childhood because I've been having to fly for 3 years. And I hate it. I hate it.